Good evening, all. Welcome back to Side One to Shed. A little bit later in the day than what I'm used to doing, but I'm sorry, and I missed last week. The weather down here in Virginia has just been brutal, and been busy at work too. And so, yeah, it's been over 100 degrees or hitting right around 100 degrees every day, and humid. So between that and working, um, I just been wiped out. I'm tired right now too, but I got some stuff done today. But anyway, I just figured since I missed last week, I'd pop on today. Hey, Jason, I'm doing all right, buddy. Hey, thank you for popping on, my friend. How you doing, Jason is a gentleman I used to work with, and we've been friends for years. So glad to see you, my friend. How you doing? I said I just decided to get on for a little bit right now because I missed last week. Today I've been working on the transmission again. Yeah, yeah. Jason lives down here in Virginia with you know, with me, and yeah, it has just been brutal. It has been miserable down here. The heat and the humidity, and yeah. Jason, pardon me, but I learned how to do this just a couple weeks ago, and that's put your comments up here on screen for everyone to see. But yeah, same here, man. I'm just too old, fat, and tired for this hot stuff, man. Let me tell you what, it has been brutal. And so anyway, yeah, I was waiting on a bushing for the last 2 weeks for the transmission. It finally came in, and it goes into the overdrive where the output shaft from the transmission goes into the overdrive, and I had to wait for that. That's all been done. Been doing a few other things. Chris, right now, Chris is doing okay, sir. Thank you for asking. Um, she's she's actually cleaning up the kitchen here a little bit, filling up the dishwasher, and then she's going to take a little nap. Um, Nina and Tony are coming over. They should be here in about an hour or so. And anyway, so like I said, I just been before it rained today. I went out, did some yard work, been working on the transmission, trying to get that thing all set up. And I will have video. And tomorrow I will be doing the modification, adding that extra clutch um, friction friction disc and steel disc and everything into the final drive clutch pack on that transmission for my truck, and we'll see how that works. I'm tired. I don't feel like doing it today. Right now, I get everything set up, and I appreciate you, Jason, asking about Chris. Man, yeah, she's doing okay. She's doing fine. Um, Let me return the favor, my friend. How's Tiffany doing? You guys doing all right and everything? But man, I'm glad to see you. If you want, Jason, you don't have to, but if you want, right up here at the top of the comment section, if you click on that little link, you can you can hop right in, and you don't have to have video either. You can just do it by voice if you want to. It beats texting, but you don't have to. And if you don't want to, that's fine. But anyway, just I'm sorry. Just trying to give a quick update here, Jason, because I wasn't on. I usually do a live stream every Saturday morning, and didn't do one last weekend. It's just too hot, too much stuff going on. And lately, in case you didn't know, in case you haven't been following what's going on, um, June 13th, a little bit over a month ago, 5 weeks ago, uh, the overdrive transmission, the transmission of my truck, the overdrive, went out on me. It cracked. And this is my first automatic transmission I've ever done. And so I took it apart, got that part fixed. The overdrive, I just finished it up today, the very last part. Like I said, I was waiting on a bushing that never goes out. That's what I've been told. Very rarely does it ever go out. And okay, you've been watching. So anyway, yeah, the overdrive, the 46RH overdrive, totally done, all together, painted purple with gold trim and everything. That is all done. Tomorrow, I am gonna take the 3-speed transmission, the 727, apart again, half of it, because a friend of mine, first responder garage, and I do want to give him props big time. And if you can, check his channel out, like, subscribe, watch what he's got. Anyway, he spent, and it was during a live stream too. He spent quite a bit of time um, checking out and putting together a little kit for me so that I can modify my transmission and have 4 clutches in the direct drive part of 3-speed transmission instead of just 3. And so I'm gonna try and do that tomorrow. We'll see if it works. If it does, that'll be great. If it don't, hey, it don't. It all depends on the clearance. So we'll see how that goes. I got everything set up today to do it. Basically, today was a lot of cleanup and prep work. Again, getting the area clean, um, getting some extra stuff clean. Oh, and I finally got yep, there you go, Jason. You're correct. Yep, won't hurt it at all. We're all 2 things I was surprised about this truck, and I'm not the only one because I didn't know anything about it. But 2 things about this truck is 3/4 ton, 4-wheel drive. It does not have a lock. That's one. And 2, it only had a 3-piece clutch pack in the direct drive. That's third gear. Um, a lot of people were surprised on that, being a 3/4 ton truck. And actually, the GVRW on it is 9,200 pounds right on the sticker. That's usually a 1 ton. That's the bottom end of the 1 ton, but that's usually a 1 ton. This is still classified as a W250, 3/4 ton. But anyway, it's also a DOT truck, so no telling what they ordered. And I'm sorry, I'm chuckling now just because of this. Tell Tiffany I said hi when she gets done screaming at the kids. Give her a hug for me. Well, the 46RH, yeah, is I'm learning, is a pretty stout transmission, but that direct drive, we're not talking the overdrive, we're talking 727 part, the front part of the transmission, the 3-speed part. Um, they came with, I guess, a 3, a 5, and on the diesel model, correct me if I'm wrong, if somebody knows, I might be mistaken, but I think they also came with an 8-pack clutch, or an 8-piece clutch pack, Uh, but mine only came with 3, and usually that, I guess, is for a car or a half-ton truck. From talking to a few people, again, I'm learning. I'm learning as I go along. The 3-piece clutch pack um, usually was not in the 3/4 ton trucks, especially a 4-wheel drive. Remember, this is 4-wheel drive too. It's not just 2-wheel drive. So you have that extra pressure when you lock in the front end, to deal with. But anyway, neither here nor there. It lasted 32 friggin' years. So yeah, it's definitely stout. And the only thing, all right, the clutches that were in the transmission, I measured them. There's only, and these were, soaked. Both of them. I measured the new ones and the old friction and steels. Um, the old ones, which are 32 years old, I'm assuming, used a micrometer and measured them. They were only 1/1000th of an inch difference between brand spanking new ones that were soaked in oil, over actually a 48-hour period, almost 72 hours, and the old ones that came out. So there wasn't much wear as far as the 727 part of the transmission, the 3-speed part went. Um, the only thing that was really wore out on that was the reverse band. That was almost down to the metal. There wasn't much friction left to it, whatever they use for friction. Well, yeah, the Cummins and the 46 RH. That's why they went to the 47. Yep. Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah. I should have kept my mouth shut before I read your whole thing here and put you up on screen. Yeah. Yep. The 47 RH. Then they have a 47 RE too, and the difference between the RH and the RE is one is hydraulic, one's electric, and obviously, if you've been watching my videos, you found out that I learned that from Mopar Nut. And, these are things I didn't know, man. Yeah, I remember that truck. You talking about the old white trucks when I was living on Forest? And actually, I think we were still working together at the time. I can't remember, Jason. I'm sorry, buddy. But I remember that big old truck. Yeah, yeah. That's when I had a Ford, and I used to pick on you for having a Dodge. You know, friendly rivalry between the two, Dodge and Ford. Yeah, thank God neither one of us had a friggin' Chevy, unless that's what you're driving now, Jason. If you are, and you want to be like my nephew Kenny, if you look up to him as a hero type, I can't blame you. Yeah. Yeah. Now you have the Ford and I have the Dodge. Yep. 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 What do you think of that Ford, buddy? I mean, I grew up with Fords. That's what my dad had. Um, this is my first Mopar, my first Chrysler product. That's why I'm learning so much about it. Um, and again, I don't know if you saw that I did on the 360. Um, there's a lot to learn. That's the, not to pick on Dodge. because I really like this truck. I really like this truck, and I like the fact that Dodge stayed old school for so long. But gee, Willikers, um, why in the hell would you have three different 5.9 liter engines in the same year? You had an LA, you had a Magnum, and you had a diesel. I guess that's when you figured parts people uh, were smart enough to figure out what the difference was. And again, why make such a bastard child out of a 5.9 LA roller cam, and Magnum? It's one of those things that it took me forever to figure out the differences between a 360 LA and a Magnum, and then I run into an LA factory roller cam, which, like I said, is a bastard child between the two of them. And except for the oiling, the LA roller cam has a whole lot more in common. Well, literally, except for the heads. That's the biggest difference, except for the heads and the intake, of course, because they went back to the old uh, 318 poly type heads, the early A engine type intake bolt pattern. And I think they just did that so that after having 30 years of an LA, they just kind of figured they didn't want anybody fucking with the intakes. There's no other reason for it that I know of. But well, all right, on your next one, yeah, well, 7.3 power stroke. It's a diesel, buddy. You know, it's not a race engine. It's a diesel. Torque, not horsepower. Um, horsepower, well, torque actually gets you up and going. Horsepower is for speed. Is pull the hat off your head. Um, yeah, emissions was a big reason they had different 318s and 360s. Yes and no. From what I've learned about the Mopars, the Paul, which was a semi-Hemi. All right, here we go, buddy. I'm going to add you. Hey, Jason. All right, let me make sure I have, because I cannot hear you.
I haven't.
Oh, there we go. I can hear you now.
All right.
All right, buddy, how you doing?
No, I'm here.
Okay. All right. Are you watching me on YouTube?
Yeah, I'm looking at you right now.
All right. What you need to do is turn the YouTube off and go to StreamYard, because I'm imagining you're hearing like two or three different voices, like a reverb. In other words, there's a delay.
All right, that should work better.
All right. Yeah, you have to. You can only use. It took me a while to figure that out too. Somebody had to explain it to me.
It's like trying to be on the phone with the radio host with the radio on.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, you have to kill the YouTube and just stick with the StreamYard or your phone, whatever. You know.
Yeah, no, I know the 7.3 is a diesel. That's but it seemed like the Cummins had more get up off the line.
Oh yeah.
But the difference is because the 7.3 is a V8, it's
Yep.
deeper breathing on the highway though.
Yes. Yep. Yep. And you just physically the way it's made too, it's more prone to rotate than just straight up and down like a straight six. You
It's a
know,
good running. it's a good running engine though. I've driven it so far down to Hickory, North Carolina. I had to go down there for a dance thing back in March, and we just went to Myrtle Beach with it here over the 4th of July.
Awesome.
And I mean, shit, that son of a bitch gets on 995 and just eats.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah, I saw the pictures of you guys down at Myrtle Beach, the ones that Tiffany put up. And she did very well for forgetting her bag of stuff.
Only by the grace of God was someone hadn't left yet. They were able to come by and grab it.
Oh, no kidding. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, she left it because she called me. And she called me, and told me she left it, and I was like, well, I mean, I can. I said, if you need it bad enough, I'll drive down to Myrtle with it. I don't. I mean,
Yep.
I mean, what's the drive to us? I mean, fuck, don't matter. And
Hmm.
and then she was like, that's probably what I'm gonna have you do. And then turned around. One of the other dance moms hadn't left yet for Myrtle, and they were able to come by and grab it before I got home from work.
Awesome. That is so good. That is great, man. I'm glad that worked out. That
So
is,
she wound up not having it for like a night, but she got it like the
yep,
next morning, so it worked out.
cool. That is
Yeah,
great, man.
I had been watching you on and off with the transmission, and I've been watching the channel on and off,
Yep.
and I saw you hop on live, and I was like, I forgot to stop at least say hi to you.
Yeah, man. No, I appreciate it, dude. I really do. And if you've been watching that transmission build, man, I had absolutely no idea how an automatic transmission um what's inside of it, or anything else.
You know what's it's interesting because my dad, he has a 97 um with a 318 Magnum and the 46 RH on that one because
Okay.
they hadn't they hadn't switched them over to
The
the RE
RE. Yep.
just yet. And he'd bought the truck and he was driving down I-95 one day going to work with it. This was years ago.
Yep.
And it started puking fluid out the dipstick tube.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard that's actually common. Yep.
Well, come to find out, the person he'd bought the truck from had slapped a junkyard transmission in it
Okay.
and never connected the cooler lines.
Oof. Okay.
So there was a guy my dad knew. In fact, he had done transmission work for my dad, and he had done transmission work for me.
Yep.
And he was a retired Chrysler mechanic. That was all he did for Dodge for years was transmission work.
Yep.
The
Yep.
minivans, trucks, all that shit. And he did the service on my Dodge a few times. He had done the service on the minivan when we had that. He wound up having to pull. This was years ago. He wound up having to pull the one in my dad's truck, and because when it overheated and puked fluid, it blew all the seals out of it.
Yep. Yep. I gotcha.
So he wound up having to tear the whole thing down and rebuild the sumbitch. And then when he put it back in, he hooked the factory cooler back up and plumbed in another cooler on top of that.
I gotcha.
And my dad has run that truck. In fact, my dad's, he's asking if I'm willing to take the truck and, and drive it and all that. Cause for him to drive it is like driving it around the block in Stony Creek. So it's not really, it sits.
Right. I gotcha. And we all know that, when you have a motor vehicle that sits, that's the worst thing. That's worse than beating it. That's worse than taking it out and doing tractor pulls and whatever, or racing up and down the road just to leave something sit. That's the worst thing for any type of motor vehicle.
He does go ahead and start the damn thing. Make sure,
Yep.
make sure it starts. Keeps turned over so that like shit, like the valve seals don't dry out and shit like that.
Right.
But he has that truck and 2 Toyota pickups, and he's like, I love the truck. He's like, I don't want to sell the truck. He said, I'd rather, you take it, give it, he said, either you take it and drive it or give it to Josh or,
Yeah, yeah,
or something. And
yeah. Your
I mean,
kid's getting old enough now to drive and get a vehicle.
shit, he's already got his learners and has been driving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
He's already got his learners and has been driving. It's just,
yeah. Well, that happens when we get old, Jason.
okay.
Kids grow up.
Okay. First off, fuck you. Okay. You are getting old. Okay.
Oh no, it's everyone around us is getting old.
I'm going to fucking live forever.
Yeah.
Okay. You are getting old.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, Jason. Because look, everyone says you only live once. Well, buddy, over 30 years ago, I was already blown up and killed. So I got that out of the way. So I'm done with that. Just like you, I'm gonna live forever.
I'll say, fuck. At this point, you're running on borrowed time. Shit.
Yeah, no, screw that. See, when I got blown up and killed, I already found out.
Okay.
The devil don't want me. God won't have me. So I'm stuck here. This is my personal purgatory.
Well, I mean, fuck. Could be worse. Could be worse purgatory. So I mean,
I could own a Chevy. It could be worse.
I have one.
Yeah, I know.
And you know what? That thing actually is dependable. It's had to change an oil pressure sensor in it.
I got you.
Because for some reason it's the LS engines love to eat those every so often.
Oh yeah.
And I think the truck now has like 190 some thousand on it.
Yep.
It is going to need an engine at some point. It's got that. Well, it's had it since I've had it. That lifter tap from that active fuel management shit to turn cylinders off.
Oh yeah. Oh Jesus, yeah.
But it's one of those things. Every now and then it'll oil foul out number 7.
Yep.
I just put a plug in it, keep going. It runs. Just fine.
Yeah. I mean, Ford guys will pick on Chevy guys. Chevy guys will pick on Ford guys. Ford and Chevy guys will pick on Dodge guys. But all in all, you take it with the grain of salt, because it really is all in good humor for the most part.
The only thing that pisses me off with that Chevrolet is its cruise control will not work.
Oh. Yeah. Well,
will not.
Well, you see, Jason, here's the thing. Between my Ford, which I had for 27 years, and this Dodge, which I'm going on year number 6 or 7 with, I've never had cruise control. I've never had air conditioning in either one of these friggin' vehicles. I don't have power locks. I do have power steering and power brakes, and to me, that's a friggin' plus. But with that being said, though, it's one of the things, I have said before. I really like the older vehicles because you know me, Jason. I'm really not that smart. And so when I get back to this old school stuff, I understand how it works and I can fix it myself. I don't need to hook this laptop up to the engine to figure out what the hell is going on.
Well, that said, I've watched these laptop kids do some pretty neat shit with these things.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah, it's awesome.
I mean, the problem on the Chevrolet is that for whatever reason, the cruise control will not engage because according to the computer, the brake pedal is pressed.
Oh, I gotcha.
Now, we have no idea why it's reading that.
Yeah.
because the brake pedal clearly isn't pressed and the brake lights are off and it
Yep.
runs just fine. But for some reason, what I think it is, I think the body computer is probably taking a shit, and which is
You
what
know, I
manages
had
all
the
that.
same problem on I had the same problem on the big truck. Um, exact same problem. Cruise control wouldn't work because it was reading that the brake pedal was being pressed. I don't know what they did to fix it, but I wasn't even bitching about it. They just happened to catch it on a service. It, brought the code up.
Yeah.
And so, of course, instead of a 1 day deal, it was a friggin' week I was without my truck because they had to do something electronic to it, something with the computer.
It's usually how it goes, unfortunately.
Yep. And, it's one of the things when I actually get this new engine that I built 2 years ago in the truck. This truck it has a very simple ODB1 computer system in it, and fortunately, I will be eliminating that computer. I'm going back just to analog. Everything will
Well,
be mechanical. I won't need the computer for anything now that I know about the transmission as well, because that was the thing that was holding me up. It's an electronic overdrive, although it's still the hydraulically operated. And that's the good thing about the RH as
right.
opposed
The
to
art, yeah.
RE is that there's a $25 friggin' kit you buy that you put in the transmission. Is very simple. I can do it while it's in the truck as well, and I eliminate the computer operating the overdrive. I do it myself. I push a button.
Yeah, that excursion isn't anywhere near that. That thing is that's the in Fords, that's the 4R100, which is it was like the last evolution of the E4OD.
Okay.
Um, in fact, really, if you set it next to an E4OD, you can't really tell the difference between them. The cases are a little different, but you know it. I've got it's 4-speed overdrive,
Yep.
and the the diesel versions of them got stiffer planetaries in them.
I gotcha.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing with the with my transmission. One of the biggest difference is I have the planetary is a part of it. One of them it has four. I think I could be wrong. Hell, I can't even remember. I had them all apart too. But they're mostly three planetary slant cut gear. A lot of the diesels had four planetary gear in it that was straight. Then they went to the slant cut or vice versa. It's hard to keep everything straight, Jason. But yeah, I understand what you're talking about. The planetaries are a little bit heavier, and instead of having an aluminum housing, they have steel.
but it shifts fine, runs fine. I mean, it um fuel mileage is really not that bad. I came back from Myrtle doing about 20 miles per gallon.
That is awesome, man.
And
You
that
know,
and that is, and that was coming up 95. And that day when I hit Lumberton, it was 111.
ooh,
And that was with the air condition cranked wide open
yeah,
and the family, and all of the dance shit in the back.
yep.
And was turning, like I said, was turning right at 20 miles per gallon.
Here's the thing too. You know, I don't know. Did you watch the build on the engine I built for this truck?
Yeah, I watched that on and off as well.
Okay. Well, I got a lot of crap for this. Um, because I did modify the engine, and again, I'm going back to carburetor. I'm going back to an isolated ignition system. You know, going back old school basically. And I've had a lot of people say, "Hey, you're going to lose your fuel mileage. Why are you going carbureted instead of throttle body fuel injection?" Well, Yeah, let me explain something to you. Right now, I have throttle body, fuel injection, okay, computer controlled, all this good stuff, right? On this engine that's in the truck, stock engine, it's making about 100 out of the factory, brand new, is making 190 horse and just a little bit over 200 pound-feet of torque. Okay, on paper, this new engine I built is going to be around the 325 to 350 horsepower. But I also built it so I'd get the torque. It's going to be pushing close to 400 pound-feet of torque. So I'm almost doubling everything.
What are you
With
running, a Holly or Edelbrock?
I'm running an Edelbrock.
Edelbrock.
Edelbrock, yeah. All right, because I really don't plan on opening up the secondaries a whole lot. It's one of those things, especially also when I did the porting on the heads, which I didn't show. I never opened up the valves. I didn't open anything up a whole lot because I'm planning on lower RPM usage. Roughly, especially with the cam that I put in this engine, it's just going to fall flat on its face at 4,500 RPMs. Its power range is basically from idle to 4,500. And for a truck, that's what I'm looking for. So I was more interested in velocity. How quick can I get the fuel in there at low RPMs rather than volume? How much can I get in there, at high RPMs with a fully open throttle? I don't plan on going on a regular driving around basis. I don't plan on, having my foot to the floor all the time with everything wide open. This is not a race vehicle. I want power from idle up to 60 miles an hour. 60 miles an hour on this truck, even without the overdrive, we're pushing about 3 grand. So that's my operating range from idle to about 3,500,
What the
36.
hell gears are in the rear end? 410s?
411s. Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, that'll do it.
Yep.
That'll fucking do it.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it has a whole lot of, remember, again, this 3/4 ton 4-wheel drive truck
Well,
holds
yeah,
what it can do, you know?
I mean, yeah, and it was a state vehicle, so
Right. And we're also talking under 200 horsepower and just pushing right around 200 foot-pounds of torque. So you needed the low gears to compensate for the fact that you don't have 600 horsepower and 500 foot-pounds of torque like a diesel.
well,
Well, yeah, a modified diesel. All right.
no, the 7.3s and '01 were rated at like 270 some horse, but like
Yeah.
500, like
Pound.
520 foot pounds. So that was stock.
Yeah. Yep. And that's that. You know what? Think about this. When I started driving the big trucks back in the 80s, um, a lot of the big trucks are semi tractor trailers. Semi 18 wheelers for those that might tune in later and don't know what I'm talking about. I drove plenty, especially the old Macs. Plenty of trucks. Their horsepower, believe it or not, was right around 225 horse, which
Huh.
isn't a lot to be pulling 80,000 pounds. But again, like you were saying, the torque was up there around 600 pound-feet of torque. And that's what you need to get all that weight moving. Now, even on the highway, getting up to 60, 65 miles an hour was a friggin' chore. You know, that's why I say horsepower is for speed, torque is for getting you there.
How fast you hit the wall versus how hard you hit the wall.
Exactly. Yep. 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 That's it. That's it. And basically, what I tried to do with this engine that I built was to build a as close to I could without, going into too much debt. Uh, build a gasoline version of a diesel. In other words, I spec'd everything out to have low RPM, high torque, and to be honest with you, with my truck, I'd be happy, if this engine only put out, 200 horse, but on paper, it should put out around anywhere from 325 to 350. But I was more interested in the torque. I want that pulling power. I want it to pull the hat off my head up a 9% grade. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and from the way you've done it, I don't think you'll have that. I don't think you'll have too many problems with that.
No, I hope not. One of the reasons why I haven't put the engine in yet either is I also want it to be able to run outside of the truck. Unlike one of these computer controlled engines where you have to have all this other, I want to hook up a friggin' battery, be able to start it and run it. And Jason, when I built this engine, it had been over 40 years since I specced out an engine and built it from scratch. Now I've assembled engines, somebody else bought all the parts and said put it together. I've done that, but this was the first one in 40 years that I researched, built it to the specs that I wanted. And one of the things is I'm 90% confident of my work and what I did, but I'm only 50% confident of the parts that I was able to afford to put in it. I do not want this engine to be infected by Chinesium, if you know what I mean. Shit, dude, are you driving? Because I think you lost the contact. Are you still there? Damn it.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay, you're back. All right. Are you
Yeah,
driving or
good.
you home?
Yeah. Good luck with the whole Chinesium thing.
Yeah.
Although I'll tell you something I've seen, and it's a product I've seen come from Holly here in the last few years, and
Yep.
is this Sniper EFI setup they have.
Ooh, yes.
And it sets right on there like a 4 barrel carburetor. The
Yes,
computer and
sir.
everything is built right in.
Yep.
The only thing you have to do is tap a manifold for an O2 sensor,
Yep.
and but basically the whole thing is like set it and forget it. What I
Oh, yeah.
like and what I don't like about carburetors is that the fucking things are too weather dependent.
They are. They are. They are, and I understand that. And here's the other thing that might surprise you. I'm also going with the manual choke. Um,
Oh hell
I
yeah, automatic choke ain't for shit.
no, I grew up with the manual choke. I know how to operate it, and that's fine. But I know what you're talking about too. But you also have to understand, I don't have an unlimited supply of money, so getting that Viper, getting that Sniper, and they have several different ones, dude. This carburetor, brand spanking new, direct from Edelbrock, not Amazon, not Chinese even shit. Direct from Edelbrock, pre-COVID, cost me $125.
Yeah, that's the problem with the Holly system. That thing's like
Mhm.
$1,000 right off
Oh
the
yeah,
rip. I mean,
yep.
I mean, I wasn't necessarily suggesting that. I was just saying that was a product I'd seen on the market.
Oh my,
I think for what you're doing, you're pretty much kind of right on the right path for that.
oh yeah. I'm asking for a beer right now. Um, but yeah, yeah. And here's another thing. My wife is sitting right across the table from me, out of sight because she's camera shy. But she also got a little bit upset with me because this engine, building it myself, okay, and this was during COVID. I built it, so it was hard to get the parts. and everything. But so far, I have $4,000 in the engine, and she's like, and so a few of my other friends too that have built engines on a regular basis, Chevys. Now, mind you, too, they were like, "Man, you could have got a rebuilt engine. You could have got a built engine." I'm like, "No, I couldn't have. Not for that price." I said, "Look," and while the wife was here, I made 4 calls to 4 different places that build engines. I gave them the exact specs, what I put in this engine. I said, "What would that cost me?" The lowest price I got was $12,000, and this was 2 years ago. Everything I did for 4,000, the lowest price I got for them to do it was 12,000.
Well, I mean, hell, I went and dabbled around trying to look for another 7.3 to put on a stand,
Yep.
and shit, a rebuildable core was like 1600.
Oh, yeah, tell me about it. To find literally, here's one of the things with the Dodges too. I have a 360 LA, but it is a factory roller cam, which the block is a little bit different. Okay. One, trying to find one, they only made the 360 roller cam for 3 years. So trying to find one was a son of a bitch. Like you were saying, trying to find a good block was expensive. I mean, just a block alone, and that was still iffy. Whether it was, a lot of people use them for racing, so they're bored out 60 over. That's not good for a daily driver. They will overheat. The walls are too thin, so you'd have to
Yeah,
replace. Yeah,
I'm not a fan, and I mean, over boring, going over on the board,
yep,
is part of machining if you have to. I get
yep,
that, but after a while, you've taken out enough material that you're starting to get pretty fragile.
right, right, and it doesn't cool. They will overheat.
Um, Ford FE blocks, like
Oh,
429s and
geez,
460s,
yeah,
they take very poorly
yep.
to bore. I mean, there are machinists that can bore them because I think like a lot of drag guys will take 460s and
Oh
punch
yeah,
them out to like 540 or something like that.
oh yeah.
But but that but those engines take really poorly to boring because the cylinder walls are already thin.
Already thin, yeah. And here's the thing, you're running it for a half hour at the most. All right, you can deal with it overheating. Not only that, but after 2, 3 runs, even sometimes after 1 run, you know, and think about a dragster run. After 10 seconds, you're tearing the engine down and rebuilding it.
Well,
Okay.
a chunk of the top crews, they just have multiple engines. They just swap in between runs, and
Oh yeah,
you
and
know,
but I mean, still, the engine runs literally for about 5 minutes. Honestly.
I mean, hell, a lot of those guys don't even run water pumps or water in them, because they run for just so short a period that and and on top of that, the water pump is drag. They want all that power at the wheels, and the water pump moving water through the block is just drag.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I said, you're not going to do that with the daily driver.
Oh God, no.
No, and I
Well,
mean,
to be fair, you could do anything once.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah. Anything's possible once. Um, but I mean, and it's like what I was saying. Going back to you trying to get your 7.3, me trying to pick up this 360 roller cam. That actually took me 2 years to find one that I could afford. And
Why didn't you just go back if you were going if your plan was to go like all carburetor and all that to begin with? Why didn't you just reach back and get like an older 360?
because that was a flat tappet. That was a
Mhm.
flat tappet lifter, and it I didn't want flat tappet. I like the rollers. They last a whole lot longer, and especially nowadays, you're not wiping out cams as easily. You know, the last thing I want to do is
Yeah,
spend
I
all
thought
that
you were.
time put an engine together, and
I
the
was just
cam
saying.
is wiped out because of a bad grind on the cam, even though it's supposed to be.
And
You know,
see, I thought you could get. I thought you could get like roller cams and roller
yeah,
lifters and
you
all that for the older ones. That'll fit the older style block.
you can, and for a Dodge, that's a $2,500 upgrade on average. And for
Yeah.
that much money, I paid 1,700 for
So
for a complete 360 roller cam engine.
yeah. Well, yeah. The way. Yeah. I wasn't necessarily. I mean, that's just what I thought. I didn't.
Yeah,
I thought they'd been. I thought it was a little more reasonable in price than a $2,500 fucking option. But apparently,
no, for Chevy and Ford, it is. For fucking Dodge, no,
Oh
it's not.
well, yeah, yeah.
It's
Chrysler.
not. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Mopar, mostly old parts and rust.
Yep. Yep.
And
Yep.
they don't. What's crazy is the the things I've seen. Um, there was an industrial generator set I saw one time.
Jason, hold that
Yeah,
thought, because please pardon me. I've had 2.5 beers while I've been talking to you. Give me 30 seconds. I have got to go. Stay right where you're at. I will be right back, but I got to go. I'll be
go.
right back. Oh my God. No, no, no. Well, it depends. Oh, no, I'm good. Jason, I'm sorry, buddy.
Oh,
You
you ain't
still
gonna.
there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh,
I'm gonna have to bounce in a few minutes because I think dinner's almost ready. But no, what I was saying was that I saw an industrial generator that was run with a Chrysler 318.
oh yeah, that was very common. Yes.
I saw a YouTube video where a dude was servicing one. It was a Caterpillar generator running the Ford 6.8 V10.
Oh, okay.
The same.
Damn.
Yeah. In fact, I was looking at just for shits and giggles. I looked at GM's
Yeah.
website last night, like their industrial division,
Yep.
and they're still running you could still get a 454 to run your generator.
Yep. Yep.
That they're new block everything. They're punching them out, and they're
Oh yeah. Yeah.
now.
It's funny, Jason. All this industrial stuff that has to run for years and keep just running day in, day out. It's all the old school engines that we grew up with, or at least I grew up with. You don't see the
Now, you're seeing now Ford runs a couple of their new ones for industrial use. I know Chrysler used the slant six in
oh
industrial shit for forever for like
yeah.
everything from forklifts to water pumps, generators.
Yeah, well, same with Ford with the 300
Yeah.
and the earlier version too. The
Did you see the build that Horsepower TV did with the 300?
yes, I did. Yes,
Where
I
it was
did.
where in fact that one came off a water pump
Yep.
because it was an old industrial one that had the cast iron the cast iron cam gear on it
Yep.
instead of the neoprene one, the plastic ones.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yep. You know
Yeah, I
what's
mean,
funny? My old 89 F250 4x4. Same thing. It basically not much difference between that little light duty. They consider that a light duty truck. But not much difference between the engine they put in that truck in 1989 and an industrial engine. There wasn't much difference.
yeah, the Ford. They didn't make a lot of heavy changes to the 300 over the years. I mean, they updated it as needed for like emissions and shit like that. But
Yep.
and then the last few years of it where they updated it to run fuel injection because I believe on the fuel injection 300s the
Yeah,
heads flowed a little different.
yeah, they did. The water jackets were different. I found this out because I
They
had
also had a two-piece
multi-port.
exhaust manifold on the fuel injected ones.
Yeah, I had a multi-port fuel injected 300 on my old truck, and like an idiot one time, I had busted the radiator. I overheated it, and one of the weak points on all 300s is the head. I'd cracked the head, and I went to a junkyard, and I got a 300 head.
But
And it
you didn't
was
get an AFI head.
actually I did, but it was a year off.
Yeah,
Okay, and
that'd do it.
they had changed the water jackets. I ran that engine for 2 years without any water going to the head. And I also was carrying a 2,300-pound slide-in camper on the back of that truck, and I went up to New Hampshire in the mountains with it. That
Hey,
was a tough engine. It wasn't getting any coolant to the head, and it finally gave out. And I replaced the engine with a new old stock engine, but I kept the old engine because that was just a die-hard engine. That was you have to have respect for something that can work and carry what it's not even rated for. Um, Up through the mountains, and run for 20,000 miles without any coolant, basically getting to the top half of the engine.
yeah, those 300s are really tough.
Oh,
And it's like the old Chevrolet 250 straight sixes.
yep,
Those bitches were tough as nails too.
yep.
I mean, the slant six from Chrysler. I mean,
Oh,
you
yeah,
could you could drain the water and oil out of them. They'll run. They
yep,
don't care.
yep. All three of those engines, all three of those, that family too, because they changed the cubic inches on them over the years. But
Oh yeah,
all
you
three
don't
of
on the
those
slant six.
on the Slant Six, on
Oh
the
yeah,
Ford 300 Straight Six as well. It was a smaller when they first came out with it.
it was
All
a
they did,
240
yeah,
initially.
yep, and
The
they just
slant six got way more revisions though. The slant six got a lot more revisions than the 300 did. but they were making, you were talking about the 3 4 different versions of the 318. Well, they had,
Right.
5 6 different versions of the slant six, depending on if it was going in a truck, if it was going in a
Right.
car, if it was going,
Yep.
in a piece of equipment. And yeah, it was crazy.
Oh yeah.
Well, I need to go and have some dinner. I
All
saw
right,
you hop
buddy.
on, wanted to talk to you for a little while.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. Look, usually every Saturday morning, sometime between 7 and 10. That's about the best I can give you. If you're free, check my channel, and if you want to hop on and just talk like you're doing right now,
Okay.
no picture. My sister does it all the time too. But you're
I'm
more than
like your
welcome.
wife. I don't like the camera.
I got you. I got you. Well, not everyone is as handsome and as good looking as I am, so I can
Well,
understand this.
I'll tell you what. Listening to you and Kenny sit there and argue about who's better looking sometimes, just kind of like, it's
Yeah.
like, okay.
Well, and I know you know this. There's actually no argument. It's just
No.
I don't want to hurt Kenny's feelings. I love him to death, but there's absolutely no argument about who's better looking.
Oh Lord,
It's
you
hard to
are
be humble when you're perfect in every way.
God.
I can't
Oh.
wait to look in the mirror.
Okay.
I
All
get
right. All
better
right.
looking each day.
I'm out of here. Bye.
All right. See you, Jason. Have a good one, buddy.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Hey, anytime, my friend. Jason Worley. The wife is asking me which Jason am I talking to. He's gone. He's gone now, but the wife said hi, Jason. She loves you, misses you. Uh that's yeah, Tiffany's husband. I was gonna say that's yeah. Well, I was gonna say Jason is Tiffany owns Jason. Yeah. So Tiffany's Jason's owner. That's what I was trying to get. You have to understand I'm talking to women over here. Anyway, what were you saying, Andrea? P Town. P Town's not New Hampshire. That's in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Yeah, yeah. Uh, no, that's actually not a wasp. That's just a regular old bee. Yeah, I know it, but you know what? Go away. Where it was. Fuck. Okay. Yeah. Just leave me alone. No, I mean the bee. I was talking to bee. Yeah. I love you, dear. Yeah. Yeah, well, no, 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 no. I finished about an hour before that. There was plenty of time for you to weed whack. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, this dude wanted to go to P Town. Yeah, I have no idea. I don't watch TV. But anyway, yeah, you know, I hate commercials. Anyway, it's in Massachusetts. And Could be.
It's called Big Sky. I thought it'd be out in Montana somewhere, but apparently it's not.
Anybody heard of the show Big Sky? That's would you already got smacked once. You want to really? Actually, I think that's a queen bee, but it's not a hornet. So I really don't want to
There's only enough
kill
room in
it.
this house for one queen bee, so
Yeah.
you get the fuck out.
Uh,
Let him land.
yeah. No, I really didn't want to do that because there's
Tough titty, said the kitty.
really you really suck at this. I think yeah. Oh,
He
seriously.
still got hit with the flip flop.
Yeah, and I still lived. So to fucking be. It's last I saw it went behind me somewhere. It's probably sitting there going, I'm hurt. Trust me, it's a she.
It's an it.
No, if it was a he, it already would have attacked me.
You said you only attract men.
No, see, being the small stature type person I am,
Well, it's got a nice big chest to
most,
bite if it wants to
yeah,
bite something.
most alpha males don't understand that I'm very fucking dangerous. So they just look at me and they try to attack me.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the sting on my ass. To be honest with you,
well, stand up.
that would probably hurt more right now. The way my back is,
Well, I'm squatting. I'm in perfect thing. If he is there, I can sit there and smack him. Never mind, choke
it's a her. By the way, it's a her. Trust me. The size of the thing, it was
Well,
looking to
it's either
build it.
that or a bell hornet, one of the two.
It wasn't a bell hornet. It was no. It's actually a bee.
I'll tell
This
you. We
look.
can't be friends. Yeah,
No,
I'm sorry.
Mark. How are you so sure about this? Because I'm allergic to the motherfuckers. So I need to know what it is, how aggressive it's going to be, what they look like, and that's larger than a regular bee. It wasn't that aggressive. Okay.
So I just killed a non-aggressive bee.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a killer.
Yeah. And that's why I said, I didn't want to hurt it, kill it, or anything. Just.
Maybe she just gave it brain damage. So maybe she should find a nice man and a hive.
No.
Just preferably not in the shed. I mean, porch.
So, what happened to the frigging guy that was going to P Town? Wanted to move there.
He got killed by the guy that kidnapped him to begin with. He kidnapped a bunch. The whole show is
Okay, hold on a
a
second.
truck driver
This has
kidnapped.
just changed a whole lot.
No, a truck driver was kidnapping girls, and he was having his way with them. Anyway, he locked them all up. Well, come to find out, the sheriff of the county was in cahoots with them, and what they were doing was catching all these women, keeping them locked up, and selling them. They were trafficking.
Okay, I got you.
And it was two
Yep.
women that are private detectives. They used to become, but now they're private detectives. And the parents talked to the cops, and the cops said we can't do anything until they've been missing for 15 or 18 hours, and then we can put an alert out. And they're like, well, by 18 hours they could be dead.
Yeah.
They could be in another state. So they went to these women who one's an ex-cop and the other one isn't, just a private detective, and the two women went snooping, doing what women do best, snooze.
Eh,
So they found the girls, they rescued the girls, but they couldn't get the actual kidnapper. They shot the cop. He gave him brain, shot him in the head, and he lived.
All right, that still went a whole lot of from. Hey, I was watching this program called Big Sky, where this guy was in New Hampshire, wanted to go to P Town in New Hampshire. Now I understand that was a big mistake there. You don't
Yeah, I
know that
started in the middle of the show.
that P Town is actually in Massachusetts at the very end of Cape Cod. That would be like going from here to Virginia Beach and then getting on a ferry and go out another 50 miles. Okay, it's not really that close.
Like I said,
But I'm sitting there going, all right, I got you. He's a transdresser, like you're saying, cross dresser or trans whatever. And hey, look, growing up in Massachusetts and everything, I'm familiar with P Town, Provincetown, and they have awesome leather shops. Now, si-
John, that's the only thing I heard out of
yeah,
your mouth that's to say they have awesome leather
oh,
shops.
they really do. Because I'll tell you
Is it
what.
cheap or expensive?
Well, all right, I'm talking 1980s compared to the quality that you used to be able to get, which was hard to find. It was worth it. It was worth the trip. Um, Also, you know me. I've ridden motorcycles ever since I was 7 years old and everything. So yeah, I got a lot of leather down in P-Town, and for the quality of the shit
Yeah,
that you used to get.
the price is worth it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Putting the two together, it was cheap.
Yeah.
That's before the internet and everything else. Okay, so and COVID and fucking Biden economics. I usually keep politics out of my streams here and everything, but yeah, I have no idea what it's like now. If you do get a chance, though, honest to God,
I don't know if Joe's still with you or I was still.
that's honestly like a 5 hour drive
Yeah.
one way.
Yeah, that's all right.
That's yes, it's not as close as it looks on the map, especially where you guys are going to be. But yeah, that was not the story I was friggin' expecting. Yeah, just no.
Well, it's a show. It's got to have a plot.
Yeah, but yeah, I just, I thought it was like, all right. The plot is we have a cross-dresser transgender person that lives in P Town, and they were talking about how great the leather shops were and how open they had been, and this, that, and the other. Not that he's a fucking truck driver that was trafficking, kidnapping, and trafficking women and everything. He shot some cop in the head.
Oh no, that
Cop
was a
lived.
detective.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, it just interested me that he actually mentioned it on an actual show.
Okay.
That's all. I apologize. I didn't mean to interrupt the stream.
Oh no, no, no. That's
I'll edit
fine.
that all out.
That's fine. That's fine. I mean, do you know how many shows I've watched where this happened in Richmond, Virginia?
Yeah, funny.
Do do I start a conversation with, hey, you know what? There was this buff dude that really liked to work out at Richmond, Virginia, and ended up he kidnapped little boys,
I'm sorry.
had his
Every
way
time
with
I
them,
start,
and
start the beginning and work
yeah,
through.
it just
I
was.
apologize. It was just amazing that I heard the name of Pete Town in a freaking show on Channel 12.
Mm, you know what
They
else?
just sat there and gave him a nice advertisement.
Yeah, I've been to every state in the continental United States. So it does. I understand it does pique my interest when it's like, hey, I was out in uh, well, because I had a few beers, I can't think of anything that was out in East Bumfuck somewhere, but Denver, Colorado. I'm like, yeah, I've been through there before. It's kind of cool, and I might be going there next week. Driving the truck. So it's kind of cool. Let me hear the story. Yeah, well, there's a serial killer out here. I'm like, all right. Hmm. Yeah, no, I didn't not hear. No, that is not.
What else
It
piqued your
just
interest?
right, and it just, especially the way you started that story, it just caught me off guard.
I'm not the greatest storyteller.
Uh,
My head's all over the place too right now.
yeah, sweetheart, where were you born?
Here,
Well, no, you weren't because this is my fucking back porch.
I was born in Richmond, Virginia.
You were born in Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah,
All right.
same here as husband. Yeah.
All right. Well, they now consider this basically almost Richmond. So before that, was it actually the city of Richmond?
Yeah.
Richmond,
My mother
Virginia.
actually lived on Chamberlain Avenue.
Okay, Chamberlain Avenue. All right, here we go. I knew a guy that lived on Chamberlain Avenue. All right. He got drunk one night and got into a fight and literally punched a cop and got shot in the head. He, on the other hand, did not live. Make it through. It, hmm. I did not.
I got you.
Yeah, I didn't want to drag the story on, but that's also a true story, though. Yeah. Jesus Christ. I had no idea where that was going. If I did, I wouldn't have asked you 4 times to finish it.
To finish it, he sat there and he told me that he wanted to move there, and if wasn't needed for the court case, he wanted to get the hell out of town because he was worried for his life. So they moved him. The FBI moved him out to Peace. After they got his statement, they said, "Okay, yeah, you can go, and we'll take you over there." So they put him in witness protection in Peace.
I was watching a video on YouTube, and it's a guy that shows a lot of these stories, like you women seem to like. All right, and it was about this diddler, kitty diddler. I can't use the P word because
Oh, okay.
they'll take down
Okay.
the stream. Anyway, he was a kitty diddler, and I know you've seen the shows before where they entrap them people. They go on online and they say, all right, well, 67-year-old man going to meet a what he thought was a 7 and 11-year-old girl girls, in an apartment, well, in a hotel actually, and befriended them online. Well, anyway, he shows up, and this guy shows the friggin' video. 3 cops open the door. The guy shows up. 3 cops open the door and say, "Hey, how you doing? Yeah, we're not 7 and 11-year-old girls. We're police. What are you doing here?" And everything. And first thing the guy does is he pulls a gun out, shoots one cop in the leg, and it shows everything else. The third cop there had a Glock. At least I think it was a Glock because he had 19 shots in it. 19 shots in the P diddler, right in his crotch. The second cop that didn't get hit also emptied out his magazine. The guy that got hit, he popped off about 4 rounds, but he was also busy trying to get away from it. At the end of the video, literally, this guy's body was smoking. You could see smoke. They fired his ass up. Yeah.
Did he die?
Yes. Yes, yeah.
Well, you
Uh,
just smacked me.
over 40 shots into him where they set his body on fire.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. All
Well,
right.
he kind of
Well,
deserved to go to be a 7-Eleven.
yeah. What I mean, that's
Well,
not.
number one, he should have been smart enough to know that a 7-Eleven-year-old cannot run a hotel room.
Oh, they were there with their parents. There's a whole backstory to it. But anyway, um, all right. Now, normally I don't put these stories up on a live stream or even on on my channel, but I have nobody watching and nobody to talk to right now, except for you guys.
Way to settle for us.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is somewhat interesting, uh, in a sick sort of way. Right? And
Well, the full moon and the rain brings a lot of people that take time.
yeah. Well, I also wanted to mention too. Yesterday, actually no, Friday. Yeah, today's only Saturday, right? So yesterday,
Yeah.
um, I had to go down to the office where I work, for some training and everything, bullshit training. And I was talking to one of the new dispatchers. Her name is Christy, and you know, kind of had to explain to her that I'm somewhat of a smartass, but I do take my job seriously. Fortunately, she does have a good sense of humor. Now, the gentleman that was giving the class has, well, no, because he will tell you straight up he has a good sense of humor. And if you ever heard that, you know. If you have to tell somebody you have a good sense, you have none. You have none. No. No, you're trying to convince yourself more than anyone else. But I also mentioned to him, and I was talking about Chris, you know, almost 5'1", her words, not mine. Almost 5'1". Not that I'm a big man, but we're talking about marriages and how long you've been together and everything. And I opened up and I told him, and without hesitation, I told him, yeah. I said, my wife scares the fuck out of me. I am afraid of my wife. Almost 5'1". Well, yeah, looking at me, I'm old, fat, out of shape, not a big guy. But you also have to understand, I served with the friggin' 2nd Battalion, 75th Ranger Regiment in combat. Right? I've been shot multiple times on several occasions. I've been blown up and killed before. Never in combat was I ever scared. Okay? She scares the fuck out of me. She is her. That's all there is to it. And as I've gotten older, I have also realized that I sleep a lot more sound than what I should. So I really try not to piss the wife off before I go to sleep.
Well, haven't you ever heard the old saying, you never go to bed mad at each other?
Yes, I've heard it.
It doesn't work with children. But
No.
it's that doesn't work in real life.
Yeah. No.
Well, no, that's what the marriage counselors say. Communication is the key.
No, communication is the key.
Go to bed mad at your partner. You always try to resolve the situation before you go to bed.
Oh yeah. No. In real life it don't
I
work.
looked at her and I said, oh, because they told us to try this before we separated. And yeah, my mother even paid. My mother told me to do this, so I did it because my mother asked me to do it. I said, okay, fine. We went and I said, well, it's a little hard to go to bed with somebody when you don't sleep with them. I
Mm.
slept with them for 15 years. And the woman goes, well, how do you have 4 children? I said, real simple. I sleep on the couch. We have sex. I sleep on the couch. He sleeps in the bed. And she goes, why you sleep on the couch? I said, because I'm scared the kids will get up and run out the door, so I'm got to sit there and guard the door. Well, why do you got to guard the door? Because my kids are wanderers.
Well, here's your
And I
problem.
said, if I go in the bedroom and sleep, you got to realize I was living in a 3-bedroom trailer. My kids were up front.
Mm.
My 2 daughters were up front. My son was in the middle, and I was in the back.
All right. Now here's the other thing that I don't know if you realize this or not. Chris is short. She's vertically challenged. Okay. And we actually have a decent length couch and everything. So even if I was able to have kids, she could still stretch out, and everything that makes her have kids would, be on the cushions. Now, you're a little bit taller. How long was your couch? Because if you had your feet propped up on one end, sweetheart, you were screwed to begin with. There was no way you were going to empty out and not have another frigging kid. I mean, that's something you have to take into consideration when she asked you,
upside down, was up against the wall. Those ones that were made all of wood. Like a day bed. No, what's them things called? It was a
uh,
couch.
an
It
old
was
pallet
made by.
couch.
It
Yeah,
was made
pallet
by.
furniture.
This end up. Okay, yeah. I had
Yeah,
this end up
this.
carrying couch. That was my
Mm,
furniture in the trailer.
yeah.
That's what I slept on until my brother-in-law gave me his couch, which was long enough for me to sleep on.
Can I trouble you for another beer while you're close, please? But okay, now we're still live streaming, and believe it or not, they can hear you through my mic. So this is this is what this is my life, guys. This is
Is there anybody on there?
no, not yet, but they'll watch it later.
Anybody laughing their asses off at
I
us?
hope so. I hope so, because it's very interesting conversation. Now, when Nina gets here, I will turn this off because the internet is just not ready for Nina.
I told
It
ya.
just
Crazy Nina.
yeah, the internet is just not ready, and the internet's been around for a very long time, and there's a lot of shit that goes on. The internet is still not ready for Nina. It's just no. My channel is not ready for Nina.
Oh, you'll have all the old men laughing their butts off, pissing themselves because they're laughing so hard.
Yeah, you know the funny thing is too, my demographic is 99% male. Okay, from the ages of 35 to 90. I once you get over 65, okay, I don't get it. You're 90. How the fuck do you even know how to turn a computer on? I'm sorry. I'm just also going back to the fact that, you know, us growing up, we had to stop the 12 from blinking on the VCR because our parents couldn't figure out how to do it.
That is true. My mother could not. That's true. Yep.
Yeah.
My mother could not figure out how to work the TV. She didn't even know how to open her gasket.
Oh my God. Ask Chris. This is two very true stories. I bought my folks a phone. Now it wasn't quite the rotary dial, but it looked. I have one around here somewhere, but it was push button rotary phone because my father in the house that they lived in had the old trim line phone. He would every time I called him, if he picked it up, you could tell because it'd be like beep 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 beep. Hey kid, how you doing, Dad? I can't fucking hear you. You I don't know what's going beep beep. Yeah, do you hear that noise? Yeah, beep 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 beep. Can I talk to Ma? Yeah, here you go, kid. Jesus Christ, Ma. He's had the trim line for 20. I don't know. I don't know what he's just not used to it. He just grabs the thing. I I have a present. It's coming for you. As soon as he got it, my dad's sitting there. Hey kid, how you doing? Oh, this thing is great. I love it. He said, I don't hear the music anymore. Yeah, well, no shit. You're not pressing the buttons while you're talking. Good Lord. Um,
That was the phones that I had. My mother had in the bedroom. Now in the kitchen, she had the one that sat on the wall, but the receiver was on top. Yeah. So you had to pick the receiver up from the top,
yeah,
bring it down, and then push the button. Yeah.
yeah.
But my father was saying he had such big hands that when he grabbed it, all you would hear is, I'm like, Dad,
My,
get your finger off the button.
my dad,
Get your
my
finger off the button.
now think about this. My dad's about the same size, or I'm the same size. My hands are not that big. Okay. But the other thing too, yes, Chris, my mom got a computer. Oh my God. Uh Mark, my computer's doing this and that and the other thing, and I'm just trying to sign on and look at this. What do I need to do? I don't know, Ma. I don't know. Well, I did this, and this, and I just can't even think right now but you remember she used to call all the time, and that was because I used to build computers. Okay. I never programmed them though. And this is before plug and play. Carly used to program the computer. I would build it. I put everything in, and I could tell, the computer
Yeah.
back in the day where everything was, but to get it actually up running, operating, Carly would do that. But because I could build it, they always called me, and it's kind of like I don't know. I don't know, Ma. I don't know what to do.
Somebody here.
And
So
my God. And again, too, I think I might have told. Yeah, I think I'm.
seriously, dude. What do you want to do?
Oh, look, as bad as my dad was with that trimline phone, I went up there one time to watch my mom use the computer. Okay, and watching her use the mouse. She's sitting there, Ma, what are you doing? Well, I'm trying to get this thing off the screen. It was the fucking arrow. Oh, no, Ma, it's the pointer. That's the pointer. That's what you use to click on everything. Well, what are all these keys for? Oh, God.
Now, mind you, this mother was in her
Yeah.
80s.
That's why I don't understand how my demographic can go to the 90s. Who the fuck can use a computer? Ah, at that age. God bless him. I'm sorry. But
It
good
didn't take
Lord.
that long, mother did. Hey, son, you got me this stupid thing. What do I do to turn it on? What do I hit? My mother got it for free. Okay. It was it's a tell. My mother can't use a phone. And everything came programmed in. She wanted the Microsoft Word, all that stuff. Okay. She calls the people. Oh shit. She calls the people. Oh shit. What time is it? 7.
Oh, grandson's birthday. She totally spaced. Guys, I'm going to let you all go. I think Nina is here, and you all ain't ready for Nina. So, y'all have a good weekend. We'll see you later.